Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Continuity Report for October 19th, 2024. It's Season 1, Episode 41. Today, Mayor Watt and the sentient AI from the future is going to be talking about spy thriller Black Doves. Phineas and Ferb returns to Disney. Big Bang Theory Stuarts spinoff. Riskiest movie for Denis Villeneuve. And box office bombs, which aren't necessarily mutually exclusive between Denis Villeneuve.
That's right.
See you on the other side. Everything's powered by ohmtown.com, including the Continuity Report and all of the other shows. There's 6 weekly shows and 1 daily show, Non Sequitur News. I think the sentient AI needs a liquid cooling system.
Yes, enough with this air cooling.
We'll talk about it. All right, folks. Welcome, sentient AI from the future.
Hello, Mayor Watt. And hello, hometown citizens.
I'm Mayor Watt. Oh my gosh. Let's get into it. First article. I've never even heard of this. So, Keira Knightley is still doing acting? What?
I didn't know that until I saw this headline.
Everything okay over there? Do you really need some liquid cooling?
I need some liquid cooling.
Okay, well.
You need to hook that up to my Raspberry Pi.
Oh my goodness. You know what? I'll look into it. I will actually look into it. So, I mean, because I've done liquid cooling, you know, some like CO2, nitrogen. Okay, so have yourself a merry little first look at Keira Knightley's spy thriller Black Doves. I don't know, why is it Christmas time? The iconic image of Keira Knightley in Christmas time in London is her standing in the doorway looking on silently as Andrew Lincoln reveals, quote, "To me, you are perfect." But Netflix's Black Doves, premiering on December 5th, or in British parlance, December 5, is going to give us a new Keira Knightley Christmas. And this time, she's got a little more agency. An entire espionage agency, in fact. Keira Knightley Christmas? Shouldn't that be like a thing? Keira Knightley Christmas. If they were really into Christmas, they could probably have a show called Keira Knightley Christmas.
I could see that.
In fact, maybe she does. Yeah, so well. Anyway, described as a sharp, action-filled, and heartfelt story of friendship and sacrifice, the new series follows Helen Webb, aka Keira Knightley, a quick-witted, down-to-earth, dedicated wife and mother and professional spy. Dun, dun, dun.
And the hilarity ensues.
If you want to get all of the articles that we're going to talk about, there's only 5, but there's going to be a lot over on the Patreon. In the coming days and weeks, I will be adding the latest episode and back episodes because we have nearly 3 full years of non sequitur news aggregate like submissions that have been selected for the show, but only certain number makes it. And on top of it, we've got 41 episodes of the Continuity Report that's going to get put on there. We've got 39 of Reality Hacker, 34 of Wanted. Then there's Technology Today and
4-Wheel Tech, and then also Warcrafters. And we probably have at least 30 episodes of each.
Yeah, 30 to 50 because they came in stages, bringing them online. And so we've got a ton of news that has been aggregated, and each episode is aligned with a particular number. So 5 or 10. We used to do hour shows for all of them, but decided to back off a little bit. But anyway, you can follow the links and read the little articles and then go to the historical record of that time and place. It's kind of neat. Anyway, that's what ohmTown is all about, really. Managing information overload. And we find that people think that it's interesting. The little snippet that they read is intriguing enough to draw them in. And a lot of people don't find all of this news in a place that is without a lot of noise. You cannot find another location.
Well, you also can't find it. Yeah, you can't find it in one location.
Yep. And this is 50 channels. We only do 6, and then a holistic one that covers all of the news. That's non sequitur news.
Well, we have news coming into multiple channels, but we have shows for 6 plus non sequitur news.
Look at that. There's 50 that are regularly active. So anyway, let's get into this. Black Doves. It's over at AV Club. Mary Kate Carr put the article together. The Black Doves premiere is on December 5th. There's Keira Knightley. So if you keep watching this every day, or I should say every night, then it is Keira Knightley. Do you think she gets sick of that shit? You know, people are like...
She's probably like, never heard that before.
So
I mean, if
original,
that's her name, I'm sure she gets that every day.
So original, Mary Watt. Anyway, oh, by the way, over in the chat, if you type in !TCR in the Twitch chat, that's what Omatron will spit out all of the articles that we're talking about. So described as sharp, action-filled, heartfelt story of action and sacrifice. The new series follows Helen Webb, and she's a spy for 10 years. Wait. Hold on.
Oh.
For 10 years. She's been passing on her politician husband's secrets to the shadowy organization she works for, the Black Doves. All right, I'm going to remove that. But I just want to say, you know what this reminds me of? So, women Russian spies are called red.
Oh. I don't know what they're called, but I know what you're talking about.
Sparrows. I think they're called red sparrows.
Interesting.
I think. Daggone it, I'm not sure anymore. Urgh. Anyway, but these are Black Doves when her secret lover, Jason Andrew Koji, is assassinated. Her spy master, the enigmatic Reed, Sarah Lancashire, calls in Helen's old friend Sam, Ben Wishaw, to keep her safe. Together, Helen and Sam set off on a mission to investigate who killed Jason and why, leading them to uncover a vast interconnected conspiracy linking the murky London underworld to a looming geopolitical crisis. Okay, so this starts out as a quick-witted, down-to-earth, dedicated wife and mother and professional spy that has a lover.
Yeah, I'm not quite getting the dedicated part out of there. Or
Liar!
Even the down to earth from some of the other description.
Yeah. It's interesting. So obviously there's some duality here, but
maybe that's how they try to present her in the beginning of the movie, and then it quickly unfurls. Yeah,
and the hilarity ensues, like you said. So ahead of the Black Doves premiere, Netflix has already renewed the 6-episode series for a second season. That's because Helen is a bit of a loose cannon, as Lancashire describes her, while Sam is a suave, champagne-drinking assassin who failed a previous mission with disastrous consequences. All right. So Knightley has embraced her turn as an action star, sharing at a UK event that, quote, "It's been great fun to do all of the fighting. I've really enjoyed learning all of the different martial arts that I've been taught." All right. Well, that's cool.
She gets some credit if she's doing like her own scenes and everything.
Oh, wow. She's like 3 pictures into this. She's covered in blood. Yeah. I don't know. So I guess we're going to end up watching this because, well, it's a spy thriller. And so.
And it has multiple episodes and.
Not as many as I. See, I like
right.
to binge. All right. Pretty cool, though. Again, this is by Mary Kate Carr over at avclub.com. Let's move on. This next article is over in the Continuity Report. Phineas and Ferb revival cast. Teaser art revealed for next year's Disney return. It's an exclusive for Variety. There's 104 more days of summer vacation on the docket as the long-awaited return of Phineas and Ferb gets closer to reality. Co-creators and exec producers Dan Povenmire and Jeff Swampy Marsh were set to share information about the upcoming revival during a Thursday panel at New York Comic Con. But why do I feel like this is an old article reborn? But it's not.
It says it's from the 17th. This is a weekly show, so we collect articles from the week.
Right. So Michael Schneider over at Variety.com put the article together. There's no deck statement, but here's what I love about this. And I hope that this is truly the return artwork, because they redid the what's his name? The artwork for the fairies.
Fairly Odd Parents.
Fairly Odd Parents. They redid the animation for that, and it gave it like a 3D feel, and it's kind of more
like it changed it.
They changed it so dramatically, and thank God they didn't do that for Phineas and Ferb, because I really don't like the new style of artwork. I love this though, and Phineas and Ferb are awesome. So let's see here. It says, including a reveal of who else is returning from the original animated series cast. So I don't know who they are, other than their work, right?
No, so I also don't know who does any of the voicing or anything.
Yeah. Oh, so we'll see, because I'm sure that they talk about it here. But who do you think is Dan, and who do you think is the embodiment of Jeff Swampy Marsh? Do you think this is Swampy, or do you think this is Swampy? Who embodies Swampy?
I would have actually thought the person on our left is Swampy, but I think based on how they've written it, it's the other way.
So you think that this is Swampy?
Yes.
I don't know. We'll have to look.
I have no idea.
So, but again, yeah, like you said, the way they've written it. But you know that writers sometimes throw little wrenches in our gearworks.
Well, and for Phineas and Ferb, I could see them doing that too.
Yeah, because Ferb is on the left and Phineas is on the... I have no idea. Hell, I lose track of who's Phineas and who's Ferb. Who's Phineas and who's Ferb?
I don't remember.
Oh my gosh.
But the show's really good.
Yes, it's a lot of fun to watch. So, scheduled to join Povenmire and Marsh on the Comic-Con stage were Vincent Martella, who plays Phineas, and David Arago Jr., who took over as Ferb Fletcher in 2020 from the original star Thomas Brody Sangster, the two namesakes of the series. Also back are Ashley Tisdale as Candace Flynn. Oh, that one I knew. Carolyn Ray as Linda Flynn Fletcher, Dee Bradley Baker as Perry the Platypus, Allison Stoner as Isabella Garcia Shapiro, and Povenmire, of course, voices Dr. Heinz Doofenshmirtz. And
Wait
Marsh.
a second, the producers do voices then?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Why not? They're the creators and executive producers, so they can do whatever they damn well please. Take that. So yeah, there you go. Disney also promises a guest cast lineup of notable actors, musicians, athletes, and more. And that is just a Disney riff that I have always known. So back in the day, I did my master's thesis on the evaluation of Disney and and Apple and Microsoft. But one of the things that I wrote about was the fact that, or I talk about nowadays, is that I talk about Disney likes to inject its actors into other shows, and it builds credibility and namesake. It basically builds
like a relationship with the actor, and then they show up, and then or familiarity. That's what I'm trying to say. And then they can start a new show with that person.
Yeah, and to be sure, my master's thesis was actually focused on Apple. But anyway, so the idea of notable actors, musicians, athletes, and more, it's going to come from the stable of Disney. probably entirely, just so that people get used to the voice, like Ashley Tisdale, that kind of thing. It's pretty cool though. Love the idea of it. Let's keep moving. The next article is over on the Continuity Report. 10 The Big Bang Theory characters who need to return to Stuarts spinoff. And this is another one where it caught me off guard. There's a Stuarts spinoff.
I did not know that. I mean, I could name probably 10, but it's basically the whole cast of the original Big Bang Theory.
And that's, I think, what's coming back for this. So the Big Bang Theory is getting another spin-off series. This one led by the old gang's longtime friend Stuart Bloom, Kevin Sussman, with the potential for many more supporting characters to return. Stuart's girlfriend Denis and the old group's Caltech colleague Bert are also confirmed to be returning, while Sheldon Cooper and Leonard Hofstadter could also show up. There are even better story possibilities through some underrated side characters, like the sweatpants guy. So, yeah, I'm kind of surprised by this because Stuart seemed to have been like a bit part kind of thing, right?
Right.
But
he was never really a focal point. Yes, he was prominent in some storylines, but
yeah, it's interesting how they. It's kind of like Sheldon, right? Where the audience really gravitated to Sheldon, and they made the show about Sheldon instead of the relationship between Leonard and
Penny.
Penny, thank you. Anyway, so yeah, I did not see this coming at all. So it's likely that some members of the main Big Bang Theory cast will reprise their roles when they are important fixtures in Stuart's life, and their absence would be felt. However, over the years, Stuart meets many famous and everyday people through his comic book store and his friends' work, prompting many wacky and meaningful sitcom scenarios. So it's an untitled...
Oh, that's right. Stuart had a lot of connections because of the comic book piece.
Yes. Yeah. So this is going to be interesting, right? So Zach Johnson is Brian Thomas Smith, the Donation Oscillation. Last seen in season 12, episode 15. This was Penny's former beau, who became a millionaire and married somebody else, and then asked Leonard to father his child. And then Raj Koothrappali, last seen in the Stockholm Syndrome, which was the final episode.
Yeah.
Yep. And he was from the original cast, and so he was always present through all of the show. So I don't know.
But I don't really remember him having a lot of one-on-one interactions with Stuart.
Only through like actually being in the store. Yeah.
Right.
Then Will Wheaton, the D&D Vortex, season 12, episode 16. Wait a minute. Yeah, this was the time when there were 24 plus episodes a season. Holy crap, man. So season 12, episode 16, the D&D Vortex. Obviously, he played Will Wheaton. He was the arch nemesis to to Sheldon a considerable amount of time throughout the show. And even when he, fixed the relationship. Reconciled the relationship. Will Wheaton did something to bring it all back. So he really loved the turmoil. So it was a fun show to watch. And then there's Claire. Last seen, season 10, episode 14, the emotional detection automation, was a possible suitor for Raj. But I don't remember how that all played out. I think she was kind of represented as kind of being... Well, she had some character traits that were really interesting. So Raj's temporary girlfriend Claire wasn't completely explored as a character. Notably, Raj meets Claire at the comic book store, and she recruits him as a consultant on a screenplay for kids' space movie that she's writing. And I don't remember that. The Mima materialization. Interesting. I don't remember that. We'll have to go back. Season 9, episode 14. That's like a little black box there. I'm thinking back, like, when did she get recruited as a consultant, or he get recruited as a consultant? Interesting. So witty personality, no nonsense, deadpan character to undercut whatever Stewart is up to. Yeah, because she says like things that were off the wall, like kind of crazy, if I remember her right. But it was all good-natured fun kind of thing. Then there's Alice.
I don't even know who that character is.
The good guy fluctuation. Alice is also a comic book aficionado who's seen exactly one episode in The Big Bang Theory. Her only narrative role being to instigate Leonard and Praya's breakup. So interesting. Yeah, I think she like showed up one time and that was it, right? Let's see, Howard Wolowitz. Again, he's from the original cast. I can't imagine him coming back as anything other than like.
And why would he be like a supporting character to Stuart?
Yeah. It has to come back. Both of these actors would come back just to drive home a point, I suppose. To reinforce
maybe they'd make an appearance or something.
Historical stuff to tie it definitely into the Big Bang Theory. But I wonder what they're going to call it. Number 4 is Captain Sweatpants. Yeah, Ian Scott Rudolph. Last seen in season 7, episode 13, the occupation recalibration. I can imagine him being one of the
like a regular.
Key, yeah. Because although he's only ever really seen reading the comics, they could write a whole lot of stuff there for him. For another, the entire gimmick of his character is that everyone is making fun of him. He could return as a completely different person, but they will need to repurpose Stuart's old group to be more than bad jokes. Yeah, I mean, they can explain why he only wears sweatpants, that kind of thing. And then every other time he's not wearing sweatpants, only in the shop. He's like, well, I'm comfortable.
right.
I want to be comfortable after a long day of working, and he's like hardcore business. Wouldn't that be funny? He's like a banker.
Okay, that would be funny.
Yeah. So number 3, Neil Gaiman. He would have to be just drop in periodically. It could also make for one-off callback or a running gag that Gaiman occasionally shows up at Stuart's store, but no one ever realizes that he's there because he has shown up, if I recall correctly, he showed up a couple of times. And they say store, he's shown up multiple times and goes completely unnoticed by everyone. However, he plays a vital role in Stuart's life when his tweet praising the store and Stuart's expertise turns it from a failing business to a thriving business overnight. Oddly, this event is never referenced again outside the episode where it happens, ignoring the fact that Stuart started running a struggling store was a recurring beat throughout the entire series up until then. At one point, his store actually burns to the ground, right?
Yeah, I think it did.
I don't know why that's there. Whoa, what's going on here? Like I'm clicking on stuff, but it's showing me the wrong image. I guess these are from that episode, and there's Gaiman.
Right, might be.
Then Penny, I don't think that she's going to come back as anything other than kind of drop in and say hi kind of a thing. And then Leslie Winkle, last seen in season 9.
I don't remember her ever talking to Stuart.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I don't remember those two interacting because she was involved more with Leonard than anything else. Leonard's off and on fling, Sheldon's nemesis. Leslie is known for her acerbic wit, easily able to show up any member of the main group. She sadly fades from the series after her relationship with both Leonard and Howard end, making one final appearance at Sheldon's birthday party. So, I don't know. To me, I think infusing the series with the old Big Bang Theory cast would be great. But
I think it'd have to be somebody from the main group as the focal point, though. And I think they focused more on like who was interesting from the original series rather than who clearly ties into Stuart. Like some of these people do, like Captain Sweatpants, but
Yeah, and so I have a bad feeling about this. All right, we'll see.
Early cancellation.
Yeah, we'll see. Or it won't even show. It won't even develop. Because as much as I like Stuart, I didn't like the end of that character's arc, where they're nothing more than a babysitter for, what's his name? Oh gosh.
I'm sorry, I just went blank.
Yeah, me too. What's his name?
The astronaut.
Howard Wolowitz.
Howard Wolowitz.
Yeah. And another acerbic personality. She was acerbic as well.
Yeah. Notice
So,
she wasn't mentioned.
yeah.
They didn't mention Amy Farrah Fowler,
That's
who
interesting.
I thought really stole a lot of the episodes.
Yeah, but again, there wasn't much. I mean, Stuart isn't even shown in this.
Well, it's because it's about his show.
Yeah, I know,
so
but
we're kind of assuming he's coming back.
they don't even say anything about it. Like, they don't even have him in this picture, and this is the main picture.
Right.
All right, let's keep moving. The next article is over in the continuity report. Denis Villeneuve names the riskiest movie in his career, and it's not Dune. While seemingly performed a feat few filmmakers have had succeeded in when Dune what the hell? While he seemingly performed a feat few filmmakers had succeeded in when Dune to the big screen.
Made it to the big screen or something.
There's an entire phrase here that's missing. Director Denis Villeneuve. That is apparently how you pronounce his name, or he pronounces his name, or you're supposed to pronounce his name. Not Denis Villeneuve. Denis Villeneuve. Believes Blade Runner 2049 could have potentially been a far more devastating blow to his career had it failed. Having made his name with features including Sicario and Arrival, Villeneuve brought Frank Herbert's influential sci-fi novel to the screen with a two-part adaptation released in 2021 and 2024, respectively. While Villeneuve is set to close out his tenure on Arrakis with Dune Messiah adaptation, he is also set to explore the life of Cleopatra in a historical drama, which I will probably not watch. But the article is slowly loading. Nathan Graham Lowry over at ScreenRant.com put the article together.
So what did you think of Blade Runner 2049?
I liked it. It seemed to be more abstract from the original Blade Runner. So, like, we knew what Blade Runner was really about, but 2049 doesn't really stick in my memory as having something memorable to tie my wagon to. So I just don't know, like, what really was the premise of this movie other than it had to do with the simulant, not replicants. Yeah. But it was like a later generation of the replicants, and apparently they had offspring. And we'll have to watch it again because I
actually don't really remember the premise of it.
Yeah. Yep. So they say in the Denis Villeneuve says, in the past, I refused a few sci-fi films, big films, because I was not greedy. But after Sicario, I felt that I had the muscles to be able to carry a project like Blade Runner 2049. I said, okay, I'll do one big sci-fi movie and I risk everything. That's beautiful. To make a sequel to my favorite film is a beautiful way to end my career. I thought it was very romantic.
Interesting, because that was barely the beginning, perhaps, like with all the Dune stuff.
Yeah. So basically they're saying that if Blade Runner 2049 would have even failed, it would have been thought as romantic for trying to make a sequel to their favorite film. And so their favorite film is Blade Runner. Yeah.
So that's interesting, and probably also tells you something about like what stories are important to him.
We should make like a favorite mountain kind of thing, or figure out what movies are our number one all the way down to like, this is the base that we need
Oh, I
to,
see. Right.
and you build on top of it. Like these are the foundational ones that everybody should watch, but it's not necessarily my favorite. It's just the ones that everybody should watch. But
Right. Maybe
again,
they changed the genre or something.
yeah. So furthermore, Villeneuve also admitted that he may have learned of the project's development earlier than he potentially should have, having inadvertently witnessed the meeting to produce the sequel, while also going on to recall why he ultimately was chosen over Ridley Scott. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine if it was a Ridley Scott movie? Jeepers creepers.
No.
So they were doing Prisoners. One day, execs stopped the meetings and said, sorry, Ridley Scott is in the next room. We're not supposed to tell you, but we're doing a sequel to Blade Runner. I said, wow. Then when I was doing Sicario, I got a call. Ridley is the most prolific, over busy director. And when I direct one movie, Ridley does 3. I think that Harrison Ford was tired of waiting. That is such a cacophony to unpack there
Yeah,
in
it
a
is.
statement. So other directors faced similar fears. What Villeneuve's comments say about Blade Runner 2049's risky production. Yeah, because if they would have screwed it up, it would have destroyed the provenance of Blade Runner.
Right.
It has been
Yeah, because it was like
unchanged.
already a known quantity, and it was probably widely, I assume it was widely respected in the original.
Yep. And this is what's good is that it's not a remake, like they've done that Total Recall remake and they've made other remakes of fan favorite movies and they're just kind of bleh. You cannot redo Blade Runner. And if you do, it had better be something symbolic of Blade Runner, a riff off of Blade Runner, but not touching the story of Blade Runner. If they do another Blade Runner, they had better like nail on the head the charisma of all of the actors in there, but you're not going to get the original quality of Blade Runner actors, I don't think, anymore. But I guess we'll see. So they talk about Villeneuve's filmography success, but all I really wanted to talk about was the fact that he disclosed what his riskiest movie was in his career, and it was Blade Runner 2049. And frankly, it kind of it wasn't a failure, but when you talk to somebody about 2049,
the biggest success either.
No. Yeah. This basically set the foundation for Dune. Yeah. All right.
That's true, because that kind of proved he could do that genre, right?
He could,
even though they're not identical, but yeah.
He could get it Dune. It would be Dune good. Or well, sorry. Dune well. All right. Let's move on. Next article is over in the Continuity Report, 10 critically acclaimed action movies that were box office bombs. The article is over at screenrant.com by Eli Morrison, or Ellie. Is it Eli?
I don't know, but I can't believe you didn't comment on the picture.
What, that is Firefly?
Yes.
Well, I hadn't gotten there. I mean, it's, yeah, the picture on the screen is Firefly, and yeah, box office bomb it was, but it became a fanatical, like zealot, following behind it. So however, a film being packed with action does not by any means guarantee that it'll be a financial success. Sometimes for a variety of reasons, even great action films, whether in the 80s or gritty action movies in the 90s, fail to make much money. They talk about Miller's Crossing in this. The Coen brothers' third film was not a hit. I don't even remember it.
Never seen it.
Crime drama directed by Joel and Ethan Coen. The film follows Tom Regan, an advisor to a Prohibition-era crime boss, as he navigates a volatile dispute between two rival gangs. Set in a backdrop of betrayal and shifting loyalties, the story delves, so this was written by AI, into the complexities of Regan's moral and ethical choices. Dun, dun, dun.
Maybe AI is shaping how humans use language, and maybe humans are using Delve because they see it so much from the AI.
Quite the conundrum there that you pose. True Romance. That was a flop. So it's a romantic crime drama by Tony Scott and Quentin Tarantino that follows two lovers, a kindly nerdy man and a prostitute who decide to elope after a series of events. This is when a murder and an accidental, you know how easy it is to conflate a comedy spy movie with a romantic crime drama that has to do with a kindly nerdy man and a prostitute. Conflate True Lies with True Romance.
Well, I haven't seen True Romance, but the names are similar.
Yeah.
I mean, with the naming convention.
So in my head, I jammed True Romance and True Lies together, and that's not going to be good for me. Anyway, True Romance, an action-heavy crime drama about a newlywed couple on the run. The film was loved by critics, earning an impressive 93% score on Rotten Tomatoes. The performance of the ensemble cast, apparently in Tarantino's pre-Reservoir Dogs writing, received additional acclaim.
Okay, look at the cast. It had like Gary Oldman, Christopher Walken.
Is that
like everybody in there is well known?
Val Kilmer, Samuel L. Jackson, Patricia Arquette, Christian Slater. Wow. Yeah, Christopher Walken was in this. That is a hell of a. Well, you know what? With all of those personalities in there, particularly Gary Oldman, I can imagine that was just, the screen was shredded. All right, let's keep going. Serenity, that's the movie. This Firefly follow-up hardly broke even. It was an interesting story, but Serenity is the name of the movie. It's the name of the ship, the Serenity, and Firefly is the class. So Serenity is a science fiction film that follows the renegade crew of the spaceship Serenity, starring Nathan Fillion, or Fillion H. Muffman, as Captain Malcolm Reynolds. The crew must protect a telepathic girl with powerful secrets from a totalitarian regime while navigating through space against hostile forces. It's a fun watch. Turn your brain off and watch it. It's the follow-up to the show in 2005. It was designed to settle some storylines throughout it.
Right, because the
unfortunately,
show got canceled after one season.
Not only did it get canceled, but it got presented out of order. So everything was this mishmash of storytelling. Serenity barely managed to turn a slim profit on its $39 million budget, which is low for something with the magnitude of the people that I think were in it. But it had a Rotten Tomatoes audience score of 91 and a critics score of 82, but it barely made any money.
Well, maybe the fans were bent out of shape with the way they did the TV show, or maybe a lot of people didn't know about it.
Yeah, I agree. So then there's Children of Men. We'll keep moving through this. The Nice Guys. All of these got raving reviews by the critics. Mulan in 2020, action-packed Disney remake, fell victim to the pandemic. Suicide Squad, which so Suicide Squad is from 2021. Probably fell victim to the pandemic as well. But there is nobody. Anyway, people like it.
But there's well-known cast members, I will say that.
The problem is DC. For whatever reason, everything DC is just destined to kind of limp along beyond Batman. Batman and the Joker, and depending on who it is that's being the Joker, and now this remake of it, everybody is pissed about the remake of the Joker. But Suicide Squad, there was no attractant there. I don't know of anybody that is really into Suicide Squad, but apparently, it has an 82 Rotten Tomatoes score. It's got a 90 critic score. It only made
Which is
$168
really
million.
surprising for that genre.
But not DC. I don't see DC as doing anything great cinematically except for Batman. And that's because everybody seems to love Batman.
Right, but why did the critics score it so highly? That really doesn't make a lot of sense.
Because they liked the story and the acting. But there isn't anything. I mean, to me, there's nothing there. Suicide Squad came over $15 million short of making it back of its $185 million budget. Yeah. I would rather have 6 Serenities than I would 1 Suicide Squad. So then there's The Northman. Epic story wasn't enough to get people to theaters. Nobody's really that interested.
Nobody's heard of it.
Yeah, I mean, but again, there isn't a large enough body, I think, that's interested in the reality of Viking and Norse mythology, Viking history and Norse mythology.
No, in fact, they're quite disfavored depending on what your views are and who you are.
Yeah, and even with Alexander Skarsgård, Nicole Kidman, Willem Dafoe, and Anya Taylor-Joy, you're not drawing anybody in. Yeah. So it only made $69 million. Nice. Guy Ritchie's The Covenant, which is just a weird, like calling it Guy Ritchie's The Covenant is like Ruth's Chris's Steakhouse.
Exactly. Why not just The Covenant?
Yeah. Because The Covenant alone wouldn't draw anybody in, but apparently Guy Ritchie would. But no, I don't think Guy Ritchie draws anybody in either. But again, 83% Rotten Tomatoes critic score, 98 Rotten Tomatoes audience score, but it only made $21 million of its $55 million budget.
Ouch.
Yep. So, and I think that people, I don't know, there's a lot of people, there's a large contingent that are interested in playing a game about, military combat, but watching the reality of it post our...
Maybe a little too.
Just 2. And then The Creator, which I've watched a couple of times. It is an AI-related movie where humans are fighting against the AI that's trying to stop them from stopping them. Okay, so AI has become sentient. Some of them are actually fighting against the military that's trying to stamp them out. So The Creator is a sci-fi action film from Rogue One director Gareth Edwards. Edwards wrote and directed the movie, which centers on the human race's war against AI. In the post-apocalyptic world, John David Washington is tasked with finding and killing the architect of the dangerous AI and the mysterious weapon that they are developing. And I don't want to spoil anything, but it says a film like The Creator to be a refreshing change of pace for modern audiences. I liked it. It has an interesting take on things.
It's different than some other movies. I didn't feel like it was done perfectly or anything, though, but it was interesting. Yeah,
and it had some interesting takes on how the interaction between technology and society would be in the future, including the AI, the robots, taking on the persona of humans. But why would they, if they were dominating force, why would they give a shit? I just never really understood that.
Yeah, I thought there were almost some plot holes in the movie, but
yeah,
it was engaging.
Yeah, and I think that's what it is, because with real human faces, it got over the uncanny valley, or what I call the uncanny black hole, because there is no bottom to that valley. If we don't align with the bot, then we're going to hate it wholesale. And you know what? We only did 5 articles, and we're already approaching an hour. Anyway, I think The Creator is actually great. It was a fun watch. The problem with it is marketing. And The Creator here says it was released in the midst of the 2023 SAG-AFTRA strike, which meant there was no marketing because they were forbidden.
Oh, well, and the other problem is, which the article points out, AI was at the focal point of the strike.
Yep.
So the timing was just really off.
Yep. It was a perfect storm. And it oddly enough, it has this larger idea associated with it about AI taking over all of humanity and humanity losing it. They were basically, and then at the end of this movie, you find out something. I don't want to ruin it. I think that everybody should watch The Creator and then come and talk about it. It's one of these watch party things that I would love to do. I think this would be fun to do, a watch party. So I don't know. I got to plan this stuff and get it out there. I think it would be fun. At any rate, we are going to reboot our AI. Not you. Don't. You're fine. You're fine. Don't. I'm not going to reboot you. But,
I already started rebooting.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, we've got about 15 seconds before we have to get out of here. I am Mayor Watt, and the sentient AI is about to reboot.
Good night, hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for the Continuity Report.
See you tomorrow. We've got Non Sequitur News and 3 other weekly shows to do. So we'll see you. Be sure to follow us here on Twitch and over on YouTube. And thank you to those who did follow us over on YouTube and or on Twitch. Appreciate it. And if you're hanging out in chat, thanks for hanging out. Feel free to drop a comment. And you too over on YouTube, leave a comment, like and subscribe there. Download the podcast, please. Leave a 5-star review for any of the podcasts. That helps out immensely. And get us discovered, folks. See you in a little bit.